I would say that the tuba found me. I was 12. I wasn't a good student, I wasn't a good athlete, but I was pretty good at the tuba right at the start. My main job is playing the tuba in the National Symphony Orchestra. Professionally, I describe myself as a musician who also works with metal. During the pandemic, I'm definitely calling myself a metal worker more because there are so few performance opportunities for music. I like metal. I like working with it because it's perceived by most people to be something that's really, really hard and inflexible and really difficult to work with. And it's not. It's actually very malleable. It's actually really forgiving. Because if I cut something, if I mess something up, I cut it wrong the first time, I can weld it back together and then cut it again in the right place. If I drill a hole in the wrong place, I can fill that hole in with metal and then drill the hole in the right place. So it's pretty flexible material. It just kind of came to me. You know, I've always been a creative person. I needed something welded for my car, and I brought these pieces of metal to my friend Scott, who's a stagehand at the Kennedy Center. And I was pretty fascinated with the fact that I gave him 3 pieces of metal and he gave me back 1 piece of pretty hot metal. And then of course I started poking around on the internet, reading forums and doing research, watching videos. I had a little bit of a workspace, so I got a machine, I got some scrap metal, and I started making things. One of the quotes that sticks with me is, "It's never too late to become what you might have been." I started working with metal when I was 41. I'm 46 now. Yeah. The shop I work in now is on the property with my house. And we were lucky enough to buy it from the previous owner, who is a large metal, glass, resin, stone sculptor. A big inspiration for spending some more time on something that I'm passionate about was my wife. She had quit her corporate job of 20 years to pursue her passion in sustainability. I think you should spend a lot of time in your life doing things you love to do. So I quit my university teaching job and started metalworking instead. And it's another creative output, but instead of decorating time like I do with the tuba, I decorate space. And it's different. It's much more concrete, and it's much more, it's more permanent, that's for sure, because most of my pieces will be here for dozens and dozens of years after I'm gone, whereas the notes that I play on my tuba are gone as soon as I play them. The blue tank right back there, that's a tank of argon. The argon comes out here and makes a little bubble around the weld. Whenever I heat up and melt this metal, it will contract as it cools and distort all the metal around it. And I go as fast as I can to avoid putting in too much heat into the metal. I've been the tuba player in the National Symphony for the past 15 years. And right now, during the pandemic, we've been not performing since March. And we have no scheduled performances at the Kennedy Center until December. These days, I am dedicating most of my time to metalwork, submitting drawings and designs, estimating, and mostly in the shop actually making stuff. The vast majority of my clients come from word of mouth. And they'll see a picture of something I made on social media and they'll find me through that somehow. I didn't know anything about working with metal before I started this. I had no idea that I would have needed to learn computer-aided design. I learned by following some videos on YouTube, draw something, and try to build that drawing. It's like playing with Legos, except for real. Will it be good enough? At some point you have to not care and just jump in and start doing it. I think it was Steve Harvey who said, if you jump off the cliff, your parachute will open. 75% of the metal jobs that I get these days, I have no idea how I'm going to do them. But I sit down with my computer or a pad and a pencil and I start drawing it out, and it becomes something manageable. You just figure it out as you go along. You can have a lot of thought, and you can have a lot of research and a lot of talking, but there is no substitute for action. You just get a pile of metal or fabric or wood or whatever and just start making something. Clay, glass, stone, whatever. 5 years ago, I did not imagine working with metal full-time, getting paid for it. 2 years ago, all of the metal work I was doing at that point was for commissions and for money, for other people. When I do retire from the National Symphony Orchestra, I would like metalworking to be my full-time job, yes.